Hey guys, I wanted to talk about a few tips. Let's turn that turn signal off. I wanted to talk about a few tips for how to train on carnivore. So if your goal is to get a lean, muscular body, whether you're a guy that wants to get ripped, get jacked, or if you're a woman who wants a kind of sculpted, toned body. Oh, look at that. Doing YouTube videos and driving. Goodness. Talent. There's a taxi cab next to me. I didn't know taxis were still a thing. So, if the goal is to get a lean, sculpted body, whether you're a guy or a gal, I'm Texan now, here are my tips for how to train. Because on a carnivore diet, you will not be consuming any glucose, any carbs. No rice, no potatoes, no nothing like that. So, if you're performing lots of glycolytic exercise, which means anaerobic exercise, which means high intensity exercise, CrossFit, high intensity interval training, your spin cycle class, your boxing class, your, do 100 burpees every morning class, whatever it is that's super high intensity exercise, that burns through a lot of sugar in the body, muscle glycogen. And you do that, well, it'll make you sore, it'll make you kind of tired and fatigued. It might drain your central nervous system, and it's going to spike your appetite. It's really going to spike your appetite. And that's like one of the number one things I see with people on carnivore trying to lose fat. And they're like, oh, I can't lose fat. I've been sprinting and doing CrossFit like 6 days a week. What's going wrong? Well, for one, like your thyroid is getting wrecked because you're doing so much exercise. You definitely want to make sure you're eating lots of salt. And number two, yeah, you're burning a bunch of fat, but you're also burning a bunch of sugar, a bunch of muscle glycogen, which means that your body is getting cravings to replenish that with eating a ton of food. So what do you want to do? You want to decrease the amount of glycolytic exercise, and here's what you should increase. Aerobic exercise, so zone 2 cardio or walking or things like that. Also, you can do about 3 sessions a week is usually what I recommend of weight training. You want to go heavy, you want to do compound lifts, squats, bench press, deadlift, overhead press, weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, barbell rows, even throw in some calisthenics in there, some push-ups, pull-ups, handstand push-ups, things like that, jump squats, jump lunges. So you do all of those exercises and you limit the volume. You don't want to be going in there doing 2-3 hours of weight training like you're a bodybuilder, because those guys are eating tons of carbs. Ooh, this lighting. Those guys are eating tons of carbs. And that's how they're able to always stay pumped and their muscles are full and veiny and all that kind of stuff. If you're doing carnivore, you really want to spare that glycogen for the important stuff. So save the glycogen for your weight training sessions. 3 times a week, 2-3 times a week. That's fantastic right there. You do your weight training sessions, and then what do you do besides that? Well, you throw in some cardio if you want to boost your fat loss. So fat loss is like, everybody has their own percentage for this, but I like to say it's 90% diet, because it really is. Fat loss is like 90% diet. So I'm moving, whoa. Fat loss is like 90% diet. So the important thing there is to get the diet down, and you want to be eating on carnivore. If your goal is fat loss, be eating a bit of a higher protein and kind of moderate fat approach. This doesn't mean 400 grams of protein and 50 grams of fat. It's more in the ballpark of, like, for me, 150 to 250 grams of protein, and then maybe about 100 to 150 grams of fat. It's just moderate. It's still a lot of fat, but just enough fat to get by, and then you fill up the rest of your diet with protein. So yeah, training wise, that's mainly what I want to say. Don't go super intense every single day, high intensity stuff all the time. If you are going to do glycolytic workouts every day, high intensity workouts, you are either going to need to fuel up with some carbs around your workouts or maybe at night, or you will need to eat more, probably more fat, or you need to limit the volume of it. So Dr. Ted Naiman, for example, does 15 minutes a day of full body calisthenics. It's very high intensity, but it's 15 minutes and it's 1 set to failure. Like, that's not too bad. But if you're doing like 45 minutes of that, you're screwed. So keep that in mind, y'all. Those are my major tips for training on carnivore. It's really all about lifting heavy weights 2 to 3 times a week, and then doing, some form of cardio. I like to say at least 3 times a week. So I alternate. I do weight training, next day I do cardio, weight training, and then cardio. And I really recommend doing lower intensity aerobic cardio because it's going to burn primarily fat. It's lipolytic, not glycolytic, which means when you keep your heart rate at a certain level, you're burning primarily fat for fuel. You're not burning more absolute fat, but it's a higher percentage of fat, a higher proportion of fat. I'm all over the place. Hey guys, now you're down at like my stomach.
Hey guys. So speaking about fat loss, what I really want to say is,
So basically, in terms of fat loss, that's pretty much all I have to say, guys. Now I'm just rambling. So everyone have a great day. Just keep it simple. Don't go super intense. Dial in your carnivore diet. Watch my videos. Watch my Instagram posts, and that's all there is to it.
oh my gosh, wow.